So this is the paper I mentioned in the last video that I'm gonna write, and I have finished it a few days ago, and I just mailed it to a professor, one of my professor. All right, so he said something about mass in the last paper, so I have also calculated out the mass from that paper. So that paper is pretty much proved, I think, because I got the mass of neutron from the mass of electron and proton using the equation of magnetic mass in there. I will later upload that, but let's check this out. So this is the theory of universal proportionality. I named it as it has got the two relations written in it, like force proportional to 1 by temperature, concentration of field, and energy exchange rate inward. What this inward means that if the temperature is inversely proportional, then the energy exchange rate will be inside, like a black hole will have this kind of energy exchange rate and temperature. And if the temperature will increase with the force, then the energy exchange rate will be outward. Any object that is working with a magnetic field will be having a energy exchange rate outward, like as if the light that is being bent. We would see it in two different ways. First way, the light is having energy exchange rate outward due to the gravitational pull of the black hole, and the second way of observing is it is the light is the energy exchange rate inside the light is inward, like the light has got some energy in it, and that energy exchange rate is inward, while the pull of the black hole, due to the pull of the black hole, light having energy exchange rate outward in that specific volume, like the zone where the black hole is affecting the light. In there it has outward energy exchange rate, but inside of it it has got a inward energy exchange rate, that how it's keeping its speed up. Though the black hole is pulling it, it's not tearing apart. All right, whatever. So first I constructed the relation from the previous paper I mentioned about it. Read it all. I will link it down. Okay. Then I show all the places it can be proved, like in Newton's law. I changed the mass. I cleverly changed the mass. Then I showed it in the Euler, Lagrangian, Hamiltonian, so that physicists can use the action related principles over it, like how the action is proportional to the energy or the field. And then from Euler, Lagrangian, and Hamiltonian we can literally derive the Lorentz force, and I showed it that in Lorentz force we can understand how it is proportional to the field, electric and magnetic field. And Charles' law, oh, Charles was so close to find out the temperature because he has both the delta T and 1 by delta T in his equation. So I also wanted to show how Planck's constant would react, so I did some calculation on force from photons, like photons are falling off in a metal, what force they would apply. And then I constructed the proof. It was really frustrating. All right, so the proof is constructed on Bohr-Coulomb law. So there is a catch. Let me show you there are two ways of developing the equation. There is a first order of development where we will leave velocity as it is and change the mass in this place somewhere. Just check it out. So it gives us that the velocity, if velocity is increased, then the concentration of field will increase. So if we keep the velocity as it is, that means that the concentration field is not only dependent on the volume of that object is occupied, but in the second order development, if we change the mass and velocity together, we get another point where velocity is inversely proportional. So here the system does not depend upon the velocity. If the volume the object is occupied increases, then the concentration of field will increase. There it doesn't depend upon the velocity, because if you increase the velocity, the concentration of field decreases. How it's happening? How can we imagine it? Like, if there is a hydrogen fog, if we increase the volume of the fog, we need more hydrogen atoms, and that increase of volume increases the amount of hydrogen atoms, and the field is getting concentrated. Or in other words, we can imagine it as we are just increasing the distance between the same amount of hydrogen atoms over this space. So the hydrogen atoms are like not getting closer anymore, they're spreading up apart. So what happens, but they're so these hydrogen atoms are spreading and they're going through more amount of fields in space. In that imagination, the concentration of field is also increasing. But if we make the hydrogen gas cloud stop in a point near the black hole, then due to the gravitational pull, if its velocity increases, the concentration of field is not gonna increase, it's gonna decrease. There is a catch, you should understand it by reading this portion. Don't want to talk about it any further. And then I concluded it. I said some funny things here about data processing, then how light and black hole react, and you see, and you'll see that this model is perfect for a hydrogen atom spinning around a black hole. Hydrogen ion, basically a proton spinning around a black hole, lots of protons. There is a wrong way of using Boltzmann constant here. So the Boltzmann constant is true for hydrogen atom, but what it's going to be for other particles, who knows what. I don't want to know. The poor quality citations, you should ignore them. And that's it. I will present the proof from the first paper about neutrons mass from electron and proton through electron capture process in another video. Thank you.